All right, so I got a question about what my thoughts are on seeing eye dogs. I think this is complicated. I think any sentient being should have the opportunity to live their lives without any force. I mean, there's levels of force that aren't removing freedoms exactly. I mean, they sort of are. Like, for example, somebody in nature could have the freedom to kill another person, but you start a society, you make laws, you say you can't kill people. So then you're forcing that person to not kill another person. Same thing where if you create property laws and then you say, like, this is somebody's property, you could force somebody off of that property. I could punch the air a whole bunch, but as soon as somebody's standing in the way of the air I was going to punch, I lose that right to keep punching because I can't punch the person in the face. So the same thing would happen with animals. If we can't reason with animals, which we cannot, then if an animal comes to us humans, then we would have to force it back to a different area. We'd have to force, using fences or whatever. Luckily, with most animals, we don't have to do that kind of thing. Like if there's a deer that comes into our roads, they'll usually just run away when they see a person. But so anyways, when it comes to something like dogs, I don't want to make any stances on what's happened in the past because everything is based on its reasonings. I don't know if I think it's justified that before cars we had horses pulling carriages, but I'm going to hold off on having too much judgment of what was done in the past. But outside of if there was a good reasoning or not, if it was just for the idea of creating a companion animal, I don't think anything in the wild should have ever been domesticated and forced to kind of be, what's the word, broken in. So I'm kind of against the idea of humans using animals in that kind of way at all. And so when you look at something like a seeing eye dog, it's tricky because it's one of the few cases where somebody's in a pretty horrible situation and then this animal can help them out. It's a big difference from somebody not being in a situation like where, let's say, somebody that was like extremely overweight wanted to ride a horse for fun and it was a frail horse or something. Then forcing this animal to have this heavier person on them, like hurting their back or something, just for their pleasure, doesn't. It seems easy to explain why that's bad. Where somebody is in a horrible situation where they are blind now, and the dog can help them get around. The better, the more good that comes from a situation, the more moral it seems, which is why vegans might eat an animal on an island to survive, but they won't if they don't need to, because there's a benefit it's keeping you alive. Where if it's just for taste pleasure, then you could sacrifice that taste pleasure to not harm an animal. So it's complicated, but I think my honest answer on the morals of it is that no, we should not force an animal to guide a person around. I think people should probably take care of each other. So there should be humans that are hired to do so. And I already don't think that humans should have pets. I think it would be best not to. I'm not saying that I think people should get rid of their pets, or if you are a vegan, and I'm not saying you shouldn't call yourself vegan because you have a pet, but I don't think people should have pets. And that's just animals that in the right situation could run around and have a lot of fun. So I definitely don't think that a dog should be trained to do this thing and basically have a miserable life. If they do, I think it's reasonable to assume that it would be a miserable life, guiding somebody around and whatnot. So I'm not in favor of it, but I don't think I would like outlaw it right away or anything. But I think it would be best if we did not rely on forcing animals to do anything they didn't want to do. So yeah.